You're listening to Forum Talks Podcast, Episode 2. Today we're talking with voices from the field, personal stories about the impact of the Teach Early Childhood Scholarship and Childcare Wages Florida project programs. This podcast was recorded during the Teach and Wages panel presentation at the 2017 One Go Summer Conference.
I'm going to just do a really quick introduction, and then I'd like for you to tell a little bit about yourself. I've got some questions here to kind of guide it, but I have a feeling that this group might kind of take it in their own direction. So we're just going to make this as meaningful as possible. I have a confession. I'm a crier. Those who know me know that. So there's a very good chance that I will tear up during this. They're very happy tears. And if I need to step out, that's why. And Lisa, you're going to take over the questions. So there you go. Okay, so Kawana Shipman, and we have Adrian Donaldson, and we have Marlo Porter. And they're going to tell you a little bit about themselves and their stories, and we'll get to know them just a little bit. Now, we have microphones, which I think we're going to do. I mentioned that we're doing this as a podcast, hopefully, if everything comes out well. So we are recording. We had a few people that walked in after I made this announcement. If you do not want your voice recorded, please let us know. We'll hand you an index card. You can write your question on that if you have one for one of the panelists, and we'll read the question for you. Otherwise, if you ask a question in your out loud voice, it's going to get recorded. Okay, anyone need an index card now? Excellent. Okay, so whenever you're ready to turn it on. Okay, so what we're going to do, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. Tell us your name, where you're from, and your current role in the ECE field. And we'll start with you, Kawana, if that's okay.
Kawana Shipman. I'm from Lake Wells, Florida. I have a child care center in Lake Wells.
Okay.
My name is Adrian Donaldson. I live in North Miami, Florida, and I own two businesses. The first one is a family child care home, which I own with my parents, called Jitterbug Learning Center, and the second one is a professional development service called Jitterbug Professional Development.
My name is Marlo Porter, and I'm from Sarasota, Florida, and I work with East Coast Line and Head Start Project, and I'm a teacher.
Okay, very good. How did you hear about the Teach Scholarship Program? And if you benefited from wages, let us know about that too. So really what we want to know is how did you get involved with Teach? What led you down that road? How did you benefit from it? Just take it and run with it. Actually, Marlo, let's start with you on that.
Well, actually, I returned to Florida after living in another state for several years, and I was hired on with East Coast Head Start, and they encourage professional development, and they encourage having a staff that is highly qualified. So therefore, my director, the ECEC, as well as being a member of Head Start, they're like, Teach, did you sign up for Teach? Did you sign up for Teach? And I've been with them for 4 seasons, going on 5 seasons now, and I've been with Teach.
Excellent. Adrian, you want to jump in?
Well, I discovered Teach when I was going to Miami-Dade for my associates, and my financial aid started running out because I wanted to get all those classes for college credit certificates for different tracks. And my financial aid started running out, and I did some research, and then I jumped into Quality Counts website, and then my association, Florida Family Child Care Home Association, helped me get enrolled in everything.
Excellent.
When I was introduced to how to come into I started out in family child care. When I was introduced to family child care, and well, it wasn't even introduced like that. I was working a job and it wasn't working out. And this girl came to me and she said, the state has given me custody of my niece, and they'll pay you to watch her. I said, yeah. I said, they'll pay me to watch her niece. They'll pay me to watch some other children too. Okay. So I said, well, who do you get in touch with? So she gave me this lady's name, and she's here today, Patricia Sullivan.
Where's Patricia?
I got in touch with Patricia Sullivan, and the ball quickly started rolling. And she introduced me to everybody I needed to be, everything I needed to be, and everywhere I needed to be. So that's how it is.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Very good. As I'm listening to you, I'm realizing that I have some structured questions here that are confining what you're telling us in terms of your stories, because I know there's a lot more depth to what's gone on with each of you. So I think what I would like to do is just present the question and let you just run with your own stories, if you don't mind. Because I feel like, again, we're restricting a little bit, and I don't want to do that, because I know I've talked to you, all of you, a little bit, and I'm like, no, come on, tell us what really happened with you. So what we really want to get at is how your experiences with T.E.A.C.H. impacted your life personally and professionally. I mean, I think, Kawana, your story about, I was like, wait a minute, I can do this? This is really cool, and then you turned that into a profession for yourself. So tell us a little bit about just your story, how this unfolded for you. Why does T.E.A.C.H. matter to you, and what would you like everybody out here to know about your experiences with that? So, Kawana, if you want to follow up, and then we can just move down the line.
Once being introduced to T.E.A.C.H., I was able to get like little minor stuff like your FCCP, which is what used to be your CDA and that type of thing. From there, I just went to the next step, from one step to another.
Huh?
From one step to another, and it just takes you higher and higher and higher. Well, you say, well, how do I afford that? That's where T.E.A.C.H. comes in, and they take care of it for you. There's not a whole lot until you reach a certain point. You have to worry about a little nibble of it, but the biggest part of it, T.E.A.C.H. takes care. So it makes you able to not have to worry about the financial part of it, but to grow and get the education you need to become more and more qualified for who we're going to teach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Kawana, what do you have for a degree right now?
I have a associate's.
And are you working toward
Yes,
a
I'm in the
bachelor's?
bachelor's. Yes.
What was it like for you to go back into an educational setting like that? Was it intimidating? What was it like for you?
No, I was ready to go.
You were ready to
When
go.
I found out, hey, T.E.A.C.H. is offering the bachelor's. Really? Hold on.
Yeah.
I
Excellent.
just got it.
Excellent. Adrian, how about you?
Well, for me, when I first contacted T.E.A.C.H., the first person that I spoke to was Jessica Long. And I instantly fell in love with her.
We all did.
She made me feel like I could conquer the world. She really motivated me to go back. And with that, I turned around and started helping other people get on T.E.A.C.H. And I've helped 8 teachers get on T.E.A.C.H. with different scholarships and successfully completed. And with Miss Jessica, Miss Martha, they celebrate me. Anything that I accomplish, any award I get, any training I get, I instantly send them pictures and copies of the certificates, and they spread it like wildfire. And it makes me feel good because it makes me want to keep going. It makes me want to go to school. It makes me want to be better because there's people in Tallahassee, they know me that I love that. And it's like, they're proud of me, just like my parents. And you know, when I hear my parents say it's like, and then when you hear other people you don't even know, it's like, wow, I did something.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, it made me a better woman and teacher. And I'm a wife now, and it really helps me. It transforms into an all-around life experience.
Excellent. And you mentioned awards. You might want to tell the crowd a little bit about an award that you maybe received recently.
Yes, I received the Terry Lane Lockoff Foundation Award, which is awarded to the top 50 teachers and all around the country and all the military bases around the world.
Very good. Anybody special in the room here for you?
My daddy.
Marla, you want to tell us a little bit? I'm going to move this mic over for you and get rid of this one because it seems to be problematic.
Good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to say thank you to my entire East Coast family, Miss Betty Brimmer, Miss Annie, Mr. Daniel, Miss Patricia Sullivan, and all my extended East Coast family because they have been extremely supportive. I recently moved back to Florida 4 years ago, and I found East Coast. And I went in kicking and screaming it, and I was like, pretty little children, pretty little children. And they were like, get in T.E.A.C.H., get involved with T.E.A.C.H. So I started working with T.E.A.C.H., and T.E.A.C.H. gave me a great deal of validity. It is said that service is the rent we pay for having the privilege to live here on earth. And it's not so much about receiving the degree or having the education as it is about having the opportunity to provide quality service for the children, family, and my community. I've had the opportunity to work with great teachers who didn't have quote-unquote an education, and I've had the opportunity to work with teachers who needed more support, who did have a great education. And what I found during that time is that the education portion of it is only a tool. It is a tool to help build myself and my community and the organization I work with. Having the degree per se also, it comes with an expectation of measurable accountability. So when I go to school, I find that people ask me, what do you know? My coworkers, in regards to professional development, they're like, Marlo, what's the answer? I'm getting my CDA. Help me with my CDA. I'm working on my FCCPC. Could you help me write this, or could you help me do this? So regarding professional development, I started working with National Council of Professional Development Specialist. I started working with CCEI as a qualified observer, and I've been supporting my coworkers throughout this region go to the next level, because the organization that I work with, we have a great deal of diversity, and we're always moving. So the goal is, when I leave, wherever I leave, whoever's there needs to be able to pick up where I left off, and it should be transparent. Having an education through T.E.A.C.H has given me an opportunity to be transparent. When I leave, I can communicate and explain exactly what I need. It has given me a new humility. I am so humbled to the people who trailblazed before me, such as Ms. Pat. She came before me. She cleaned the bushes out so that I can come. Daniel, he cleaned the way out so that I can get there. Ms. Annie, she cleaned the way out so that I can go through. So I have a humility going into this. My confidence built. I have measurable accountability now. If I say something, they're like, how you know? Because T.E.A.C.H told me. That's how I know. It's been a humbling journey. Has also not only given me confidence, credibility, stamina, perseverance. I know that if I keep hanging there, and if I do it, I get a check. But more so than that, it just has changed my life so much. I've had an opportunity to work with some wonderful people, and it gave me an opportunity to challenge myself and prove that I can do this and make child care a career. And I'm just going to add this. I started my career after I received my PhD, my public high school diploma. I went straight to the Bethune-Cookman College, Volusia County, Daytona Beach, and my first college roommate, who I got drop kicked with, she's in the back, and we made a commitment to go back to school. And she is also in early childhood education, and we're working together again to do this. And I'm going to leave with this. Mary McLeod Bethune, what she left with us in her last will and testament was a desire for lifelong learning. And with that, my roommate, the organization, my family, and my new family, T.E.A.C.H, you guys being here, and I look forward to seeing you when I receive my real PhD.
Okay. I find this really moving to see that this has really affected people. That this isn't just, we sit in our offices and we push some paperwork sometimes, and to hear the stories from the field is really meaningful to me. So the other question that I'd like to ask you all is, how do you think, and Marlo, you touched on this a little bit, but how do you think this has affected you in your classroom or in your work with children? How have you seen, and I'm not talking just about T.E.A.C.H scholarship, but I'm talking about your own professional development path. How has that helped you make a difference for children? Do you want to take a stab at this, Kalana?
It's giving you more quality understanding to work with the children, not just the children, but their families as well. I've had teachers to follow me. I have parents now that follow me. So it makes a great difference. It's a path that's just on and on and on. Like you say, Pat's kicked the bushes so we can walk on through the path. Yeah.
Very nice. Adrian?
For me, I can see that my students enjoy it, because when I go to class and I have those projects, I want them to come to me. I don't care what the college says. We don't have insurance to come. I'll come to them. It's okay. They come with me to this class. They do my presentations with me. They help me with my projects. So they are college bound already. And me and my mom wrote a theme song for my school, and one of the lines go, "We're off to one day we'll be off in college." And for my parents, all the new information I get, I find new ways to give it to them. Whether it's in a parent workshop, a newsletter, or just giving them the handout, or asking them to read my paper for errors, just so they can get the information too. I try to get them involved in any way possible. And when I have certain projects that is just an overwhelm, I always give them a question. Well, hey, I need you to do a parent board. And then I can write my paper on their experience. And it's also transpired into my family home with my parents. My mom and dad takes trainings. Me and my dad did an online class with Early Learning Florida, and we both went to the COP meetings, and it was a wonderful experience for my family. It's not only affect my kids and their families, but it's affect my bond with my parents, and that experience with my dad I'll always have. Always. And that last class, I was stressed the last COP meeting, and there was a lot going on in my life, and my dad was there for me. He kept those teachers busy so they wouldn't talk to me. He kept them laughing, and they were just like, okay, he picked up a lot. And in turn, he helped me fix up the classroom. They helped me put new things up. They helped me find new things to bring to the parents. They helped me re-innovate my ideas, my way of thinking, my way of teaching. Whereas before it was me and my ideas, me, and now it's us and our ideas. I'm a daddy's girl, and I always knew my mom was dating.
What? Okay. What do you see as your next steps? What would you see as your aspirations? What are your hopes for yourself? You're allowed to think about yourselves. What are your hopes for yourselves as you move forward in this field? I know you want your PhD, but
well, beyond that, what I've been finding out as the piggyback on the previous question that you've asked, I've had an opportunity to work with many teachers, and I found that having an education and working with teachers isn't so much about talking the talk as it is walking the walk. Mm-hmm. Because one of the first things I hear the teachers say first, they ask the question, what kind of degree you got? And then after they ask that question, they say, how do we do it? So I find myself dealing with a great deal of theory, understanding hows and whys. So I'm looking forward to being a practice-based mentor coach with East Coast Migrant Head Start Project. Or wherever the path leads me.
Okay.
So that's where I am at this point.
Very good.
Someone asked, is there a limit? I got my AS, which also combined with a college credit for preschool track. I got my director's. I renewed my national. I'm working on my bachelor's. I will get my master's, and one day you will call me Dr. Donaldson, Doctor of Education. My final goal in life is, one, to be the #1 person that got the most T.E.A.C.H scholarships. That's first. And second, I would love to start the first family childcare home franchise Jitterbug, which I started. 2 of my parents are interested. Their kids are in my school. They're starting to volunteer so they can get T.E.A.C.H scholarships and to get the certifications, and they're going to eventually open Jitterbug 2 and 3. That's my goal.
As I go on and push others, I push other center directors, staff, teachers, whomever I might meet when they're struggling. And how do you do this and how do you do it? You ever heard about T.E.A.C.H? You can come back. Well, I don't work anywhere. You can come and volunteer with me. Through volunteering, they are also eligible for the scholarship as well. So this is what I do. And I'm out all the time talking to them. Don't get much sleep at night. Oh. And where I think I may end up is consulting.
Anything else you would like to add before we open it up to some questions from the audience? Please, absolutely jump right in.
It's small. As I said before, I recently moved here about 4 years ago, And I came back to Florida because of my grandma, and I promised that I would say Grandma Dot Nanny today. So I just wanted to say that Grandma Dot Nanny.
The only thing I want to add is that nothing is impossible. My dad always taught me that. He started out pushing his lawnmower around. His sister bought it for him. And now he owns 3 different landscaping businesses. And he owns a Bobcat that he does demolition. He's my inspiration to be great. And where my family home is, it was supposed to be their bedroom suite, my parents' bedroom suite. It was supposed to be a jacuzzi and a living room. And they're supposed to have everything in there. And when I went through my experience with the different centers and the different places I worked at, the last place I worked at really dogged me out. And they cussed me and they were very disrespectful. They were friends with my parents. And my parents didn't believe me. So I called my mom one day and said, Mommy, listen. She muted her side and she listened, and that was the last time I ever worked for anybody. And they promised me that. No. They don't want their kids to go through that. And because I saw that, it motivated me to be the best. And now my school is a digital certified school, we're green certified school, and we're working on being a nurture certified school. And it's all because of my parents. And when I look at them, I know nothing is impossible. I know I can be the doctor I want to be. I know I can be the best consultant. I know I can get my franchises running. And T.E.A.C.H has really empowered me to do that. And I don't look back at all.
I just think working hard, pushing forward, and never giving up. Reaching along the side, pulling up who you can as you go along the way. Just push.
Okay, do you want to do? How about some questions for our panelists? I can't talk right now, so I'm going to let Lisa do this.
I think maybe it's better.
We're all a mess up here, so.
I have my own question, if you don't mind sharing. How long did it take you to pursue your completion of your first T.E.A.C.H scholarship?
And which scholarship was it?
I want to say this about the one. In my other life, I'm the East Coast now, and I was with the coalition when it was all ladies Phyllis, and the big dogs decided they had to have me and took that power away from us. But we're still in charge, ladies. And they know they need us because we're the nurturers. But Miss Shipman she's a person that was in the community that people look to, and she loved children. So after she was helping people and getting involved, I said, Kawana, she was so excited. Patricia, you mean they're going to pay me? I said, girl, yes. And let's get on the food program, and now they got this T.E.A.C.H money. Well, what you mean? I said, you going to go to school. It don't take much, Kawana, you already know it. Just write down all the stuff you know when they ask you questions. So when she started doing it, she told everybody, hey girl, we can just write down everything we know and they don't pay us. Because the thing is about childcare, as women and as nurturers, we have it in us. We just have to conform the terms to what the new thing is of the state. Whether it's development appropriate practice, whether it's your child development association, okay, that means that you do not sit on babies, that you teach them, and you're going to make them be ready for school readiness now. That's the new one. So it's just a vicious cycle, but continue to do what you do as providers and providing the quality care. If you are a good parent and you get education, read, find out. Oh, but they're doing this right now. What do they call that? Oh, I call it this. But we want to use the professional term so people will know that we are professionals and that family child care providers, they don't sit on babies. They don't sit on babies, so it's no babysitting service. So these ladies here, I applaud you. The lady from Miami, when we went to Miami, took family child care, we were so excited. And it was Phyllis Khalifa, Elaine Violana, all those people taking us around the state saying, you have friends just like you. So, Kawana, it's been a long time coming. I remember when you went Tallahassee Community College for East Coast people. This is the lady said, Miss Pat, just tell them they can do it online. They don't have to worry about going to school. I said, really? She said, yes. So I got the information. She did it. I got the information, so now I can tell people, if you just cannot go to school after work, I know Tallahassee Community College is right. It's too many people that I know have their AS. And she did it, and she said, it's really easy, Miss Pat, because this is information.
That's a really good point. I think that's a really good point.
I'm from Montgomery, Alabama, and I was sitting here. I was sitting here, and so the presentation that I had planned to attend was canceled. So I was walking down, and I said, "Well, I'll hear more about T.E.A.C.H. We have our teachers involved in T.E.A.C.H. And this is one of our high achievers right here, Miss Savannah. And I'm so proud of her. But more than that, you all have just floored me. I'm an education specialist with early childhood in Montgomery, Alabama, and I raised my hand when you asked who has been affiliated with T.E.A.C.H. Well, I don't think Alabama has this. I'm going to go home and do research because your panel spans from different areas of early childhood, and their stories have just, I'm almost crying because I'm looking at reality as opposed to, something that you might read in a magazine. I'm looking at people really care about quality, child care. They care about children. I wrote down what Ms. Kat Sullivan said. Child care providers don't sit on babies. I want to post it all over my office. So I'm just so grateful to hear your stories. You were genuine, and I'm happy I came to this conference. I have two questions. Do we have wages in Hillsborough County? Okay. And then work on that. Okay. And then Kawana, where are you going to school? Where are you heading for your bachelor's?
Now I'm with St. Pete College.
St. Pete College, in another bachelor's program.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you want to find out some of the bachelor programs, remember you can go to the ECE directory that we have on the Peak website and it'll show you all the bachelor programs in Florida.
Okay. That was my next question. I am in a bachelor's program right now, and I'm paid privately myself. But I was wondering, what's the next step for master's? And she was asking the same question.
Real quickly, I'll just tell you that the master's degree that T.E.A.C.H. is in partnership right now is at the University of North Florida. It's a 100% online program, and it is focusing on early childhood education leadership. So it's a combined program of educational leadership focused on early childhood education content. So policy and advocacy and those sorts of things will be focused primarily on early childhood education. A lot of our ed leadership programs throughout the state at a graduate level focus on that K-12 model, and this is unique in that it's early childhood. So if you're interested in the master's degree program, when you finish your bachelor's, get in touch with us, and
I'll be done December 15th.
give us a call.
I'm done, and I start Ashford in the fall, and if I can go through the T.E.A.C.H. program, I would really like to do that to get my master's.
Okay.
I don't want to pay out of pocket anymore.
Yep. Again, UNF is where we've got a partnership, so if you're interested in the University of North Florida out of Jacksonville and you want to do it online, yeah, we'd be happy to work with you, so just get in touch with us, our contact's on the back. Questions for our panel, anybody else?
I don't have a question, but I wanted to say thank you, ladies, because I am a parent and I volunteer, and I have become a pain in the butt for the past 2 years now. And the center where my twins are, I have a good relationship with the owner, and he told me, he said, you know what, I get more phone calls than anybody. I get more phone calls from you than anybody. And I said, it's because I don't want to leave. I would like our teachers to be better, and I just want to make sure that our kids are being taught, especially not because my kids are there, but because there are other kids, there's other parents. And he told me, he said, you know, do me a favor. You need to go to school, become a center director, because the phone calls I get from you, you might as well start working here and taking over. So I told Julian, my director of my program, I said, Julian, I'm going to school to become a center director. Now, if you don't hire me and someone else take me, you're going to have a problem. And ladies, thank you, because it today just really motivated me more to make sure that I find a sponsor to, you know, so I can go back to school and become a center director, because to me, the love that I advocate for the kids this past 2 years, I have to see or be able to know that I'm here to help these teachers to understand that these kids are our future, and you're the one that's educating our kids. And I just want to make sure that you guys are there really for what it is. And this conference have really done that for me, especially today. Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Phyllis, introduce yourself if you would.
Sure. I'm Phyllis Khalifi. I'm the CEO for the Children's Forum, and we sponsor. I just want to, first of all, thank our ladies. You motivate us. I just want you to understand that. It's when we hear these wonderful stories back about your accomplishments, that means the work that we've advocated for makes a difference. And we want you to know how critically important you are to our field. I just love meeting and hearing the stories of our folks in the field. You are the ones who will make a difference. You know, we are here now, but I'm going to be gone in a few years. Be doing, I know, surprise, right? But the point is, this pathway is for you. It is so that you can step into positions of leadership, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's as a director in your programs, whether it's in a position like I'm in, like Kiki's in, like our staff here. You are the future, and we want you to step in our shoes to be able to pave the way for others to make a difference in the lives of children and families. I'm so impressed by you as a parent. Thank God for you. You know, that you are that involved and that engaged in your children's education and your children's care, because you will make truly a difference. You know from a very personal way how you can impact the lives of kids, not only your own, but others as well. So I commend all of you. Thank you for the work that you do. You're incredible. You'll be the ones to really change the lives for the future, and we applaud you and all that you do for children and families. Thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Yes, sir.
I apologize. All y'all have paid babysitters. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And for the panel, how did T.E.A.C.H help you guys, motivate you to keep going, to accomplish more? How did T.E.A.C.H help you, support you guys today?
They were there financially. That beats half of it already. And as you learn more, you want to do more. As you take a step, you want to go higher and higher. And you want to bring somebody with you. We can't do it all by ourselves, so I don't mind reaching back, you know. But if they take care of the financial part, we'll be ready.
Besides the financial, they really are a team for you. Jessica Long, Miss Martha. I mean, I call them for stuff that they're not even qualified for. They probably won't even know, but because I know that they're going to guide me and they're not going to shut the door on me. And you know, when you look at me, some people say, oh, that's a little girl. I'm 26. I opened my school when I was 23. I am very motivated, and T.E.A.C.H just put that fire on me. And when I found out about that master's at conference a year ago, I was like, bachelor's, here I come, because I want that master's. So it's just the fact that they keep adding things and keep finding new things to add to it, like that 3 to 6 model. When I first saw it, I didn't know what it was, but I actually fit into it now in my contract for the summer. And so it's like, it's nice that they find ways to help us out. And it's not like you got to take all 5 classes. You can take 2 classes. You can take 1 class. And that's what motivates me. It's not a, you have to. It's a, how can I help you type of organization.
I just want to piggyback on the other women. First of all, financially, oh my gosh. That's extremely big part of the equation. I tell you that 3 hours of leave time makes a big difference in my world. Secondly, the support of my T.E.A.C.H counselor. I can reach out to her. She emails me or calls me back within minutes. Second, we had a challenge at my school. I was on the phone. It was like December the 22nd or December the 19th, and we were able to communicate in the middle of the Christmas holidays. So that was also. And lastly, it's the expectation. Once you start the snowball rolling, it was like expectation, next. It just didn't stop. The snowball just got bigger and better. So that's how they've been helping me and keeping me motivated.
I just wanted to share that Miss Adrian will receive her first salary supplement check in August, hopefully, of this year. Took her a while to get on, but she finally believes that this is money that's going to go directly to her. And I do believe that you're at a level 6 for your Association of Early Childhood Education, which is $750 every 6 months. In addition to her T.E.A.C.H scholarship bonus. So she's making some nice change.
Just to add, I'm the area rep for Florida Family Foster Home Association, so I represent Miami-Dade and Monroe County. And T.E.A.C.H is part of our stuff that we send out. Like we have promotional folders, and the T.E.A.C.H material is in there when we set up our tables at conferences. It's part of our tables. It's something that we really, really push and we believe in. And Daddy, can you hold up the back of my phone? If you see the back of my phone, T.E.A.C.H is on the back of my phone. And wages, when I put my application in, she said it was a wait list. I was like, I don't think I want to wait. Forget it. And Miss Danish and Miss Arlene was like, girl, put that application in. Just wait. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Wait, you gonna die? So yeah, it was worth the wait. And it really wasn't that long if I look back in hindsight. It wasn't that long. But you know me, I'm an impatient person. I want to go. But it really was worth the wait and the experience.
Anybody else have a comment they'd like to make or a question? If not, I would just like to. Oh, there is. I'm sorry.
Hey, I didn't go through the T.E.A.C.H scholarship for my associate's degree. I was able to get a full scholarship from the community college association, and when I tell you they changed my life, so I relate to you, in a really different way, but I almost didn't graduate high school. So to graduate from college, and I was pregnant with my husband's first child, and so I was waddling down the lane, but I was there. I just want to know, I know how I felt. How did you feel when you graduated?
That's a great question.
On top of the world. There was nobody bigger, better, on top of the world. And I was like, Adrian, here, what's next? We got to go. What's next? I called my little group in and I said, okay, guys, we got this part. We got to move on. So, on top of the world.
For me, it was an amazing experience because I'm one of 5, And I was the first to graduate. I'm a middle child, so I'm a mistreated one. I was the first to graduate college, and my whole family was there. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my husband, and it was nice to see my parents. Anytime that my parents come to support me, it makes me so happy. So to see them there, and for me to have gotten my A, it's an amazing experience to share with them.
It's been a long time. I've been trying to get a college degree since the last millennium. And the school that I went to, they just did not want to allow this professional development. I have a book this big. And they're like, Marla, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? And I'm like, I don't know. And I didn't physically go to the graduation because I said it's about what happens after the graduation. It's not so much buying the cap and gown and purchasing the hat and taking the pictures. And when you guys called me, I said, this is my graduation. And for my organization, finally, when I got here on Wednesday, I received it. Between December and May, I will officially be completed with the bachelor's program. Yes, I have a question for Ms. Kawana. During school, when you had bad days and sometimes things just didn't go right, could you share with us what made you happy? What did you do to celebrate yourself?
If we had a tough test, or things just looked like they were stacking up against us, once we made it through, and mind you, it's just not me. I had a group I was pulling. Come on, y'all. When we get it done, when we get the grades, or at the end, I said, hey, y'all, we got to have a celebration. One of my friends told me they gained 11 pounds following. Because we had to have a celebration.
She can cook. She can cook. And she doing real
I don't cook anymore. I go out now.
celebration.
We have a celebration. Yes.
Okay, anybody else have anything they want to bring forward? I know I'm losing it, I'm sorry. I'm totally losing it here. Any other comments? I just want to thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank
you. As Phyllis said, this is why I go to work. That's right. This is why I go. Someone else take over.
We are doing a presentation, the same presentation. Unfortunately, we're not doing the panel on the next presentation, but we're doing one completely in Spanish because we know there's a whole community in Florida that needs to hear this in Spanish. So it's right after this one. So if you know anybody that would like to come, we invite you to come on down. We're going to be in Miami this fall doing the same thing and hopefully having a panel like this and sharing these stories because these are so important. So thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, again, all of our contact information is in the packets. We've got business cards, Denise, if you want to pass, if anybody needs that, we can pass those out. And we've got something else.
Oh, the podcast. If we're able to pull some of this information that we got from our panel and some of your questions, we're going to create a podcast. It'll be available on the Children's Forum T.E.A.C.H website, probably on both of those. So go to our website, like our Facebook page. If you do both of those things, you'll have access to the podcast as we develop it and all materials that we have. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to our panel. Thank you. This is amazing inspiration.
You're listening to Forum Talks. Show notes can be found at www.thechildrensforum.com. We invite you to come back often and add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you for listening.